Good morning, children. Today we are going to study the second poem of the main course book, Flamingo. The title of the poem is An Elementary School Classroom in a Slum. So let us start this poem, An Elementary School Classroom in a Slum. This poem is written by famous British poet Stephen Spender. So let's start this poem. An elementary school classroom in a slum was first published in the year 1964 in Stephen Spender's selected poems and is perhaps the best example of Spender's political concerns. The poem reflects the condition of poor children living in a slum who go to an elementary school to study. So this poem is dealing with poor children who have been living in slum and who go to school in slum area. So this poem deals with social injustice and class inequality. The kind of injustice that is done to the poor children. They are living in poverty and there is no hope for the children who are in poverty, who belong to the lower strata of society. He goes on comparing the development that has taken place over the years, the civilized society. And he questions us, is it that we have been civilized? The state of the school and the classroom evokes sympathy of the children. So there is a school there in a slum area. And how is the school? How are the walls of that classroom? The government is supposed to provide equal opportunities for the children's education. But the classroom in the slum offers little hope to its students. Nobody is ready to take care of all their children, their education, their living conditions. The poor implores the government and the teachers to provide opportunities so that these students can breathe in fresh air and learn new things in a healthy environment. So, how can there be hope for the children who are living in slum area? What can the government do? What can the officials do? The poet discusses about that, and then he says, yes, they can have a bright future only if the efforts are made by the government and the officials who are supposed to do the work for these poor children. Now let us know about the poet. So, introduction of the poet. Stephen Harold Spender was born on 28th February 1909 and died on 16th July 1995. So he is a poet who is very much influenced by communist ideology, an English poet, novelist, and essayist who wrote on the themes of racial and class inequalities. And what does racial inequality mean? Racial, different races, black and white. So there was a problem between black and white, that racial inequalities of black and brown, brown and white. So Stephen Harold Spender was educated at the University of Oxford, where he first became associated with W.H. Auden, very famous poet, Christopher Isherwood, C.D. Lewis, and Louis Magnus. His book, The 30s and After, mentions these renowned people. So, he mentions about these all famous writers and poets in his book, which was published in the year 1979. So, here is a photograph of the poet Stephen Spender. World within world, Stephen Spender's autobiography provides a detailed description of Virginia Woolf, very famous novelist, W.B. Yeats and T.S. Eliot, modern poets, Lady Ottoline Morrell, W.H. Auden, some other poets, Christopher Isherwood, and many other prominent literary figures whom he was friends with. He was appointed the Poet Laureate Consultant in Poetry to the United States Library of Congress in 1965. What do you find in the poems of Stephen Spender? Is concerned about poor people, is concerned about society, and is concerned about upliftment of all these people who belong to the lower strata of society. Now, what is the theme of this poem? This poem is a little bit different poem, and this poem is altogether different from all other poems. Because the theme is dealing with social inequality. An elementary school classroom in Slum is a poem that portrays the plight and deprivation of the children living in a slum. The predicament or the plight or the conditions of these children who are living in slum area. It shows the ill-equipped classroom, malnourished and diseased children in that classroom. They are unable to concentrate on the lessons being taught and relate with them. What is very important for them is survival. What is very important for them to get meal for their survival. The slums are squalid, with dirty and filled with poverty and pollution. Elementary education that is considered bare minimum and compulsory in most parts of the world is the only education available to the slum dwellers, and that too is in a bad shape. And these are the children who are also child laborers. It's not that they go to the school and come back and lead a happy life. No, it's not that way. They come back and after that they have to fight. They have to struggle for their livelihood. Hence, the poet makes an appeal to the authorities to educate them completely, to educate all the children who are living in slum area. Let us now read the poem. An elementary school classroom in a slum by Stephen Spender. Far, far from gusty waves, the children's faces, like rootless weeds, the hair torn around and tangled. The tall girl with a weighed down head, the paper-stained boy with rags eyes, the stunted, unlucky hair of twisted bones, reciting the father's gnarled disease, his lesson from his desk, at back of the green glass, one unnoted, sweet and young. His eyes gleam in a dream of squirrels playing in the tree room other than this, of sour cream walls, donations, Shakespeare's head, cloudless at dawn, civilized dome, riding all cities, build flowery Tyrole's valley, open-handed nap, awarding the world its a world, and yet children, these windows, not this world, our world, where all their future is painted with a fog, a narrow street serving with a light sky, far, far from rivers, caves and stars of words. Surely Shakespeare is wicked, the map a bad example. With ships and sun and love taking them to still. For lines that slightly turn into their cracked holes. From fog to endless night, on their slack heap the children, where skins peep through my bones and spectacles still, with bended glass like bottle bits on stools. All of their time and space are foggy slum, unless governor, teacher, inspector, visitor. This map becomes their window and these windows that shut upon their lives like catacombs. Break open till they break the town and show the children green fields and make their world run azure on gold sands. And let their tongues run naked into books. The white and green leaves open. History is theirs, whose language is the sun. Now let's study the first stanza. The speaker describes the unfortunate condition of the slum children. He says that the children are far away from the bright life of rich people. They have no hope in their lives. They are unkept here, not neat, around their pale faces look like rootless weeds. So their hair look like rootless weeds. The tall girl looks physically and emotionally exhausted. Her weighed down head shows that she is dull and tired. Her weighed down head, her burdened head, that shows that she is very dull and tired because of work. The undernourished boy is as thin as a paper singing boy. His eyes look like those of a rat, rummaging for food, looking for food. And the student in the class is stunted and a victim of genetic disorder which he seems to have inherited from his father. He suffers from weak bones. Instead of being able to concentrate on his studies, he only draws sympathy for his disability. The classroom is dim. At the back of it, a sweet boy remains sitting unnoticed. His mind is lost in the dreams of a squirrel's game in the room. Oblivious of his poverty and classroom, is not thinking about his poverty and classroom. The boy seems to be dreaming about playing in vast green fields just like squirrels do. Let's go to stanza number 2. The walls of the classroom are unpleasantly yellow in color like starboard green, and the names of donors are scribbled on them. So names of donors are written on them. A picture of Shakespeare, clear sky at dawn, dome of monuments, showing the growth of civilization, the development of civilization, and a funnel-shaped flowery Tyrol's valley are all put up on the walls of the classroom. So there are beauties. The world is very beautiful. The world is civilized. The world has developed. But what about the children who are still remaining in backward conditions? The map on the wall shows a world outside which is beyond the reach of the children. The place where they live is nowhere located on the map. The world in which they live offers no hope to them as it is blurred like fog and their lives are sealed inside the streets covered with pollution. The map which signifies knowledge and travel is quite in contrast with the life of the children who do not get even mandatory education facilities. Let's go to stanza number 3. The picture of Shakespeare and the map displayed on the classroom wall remind the children of their deprivation and take them to commit crime so that they can access the world they have never seen. They live in abject and perpetual poverty, confined in their cramped and filthy dwellings, without any ray of hope. They are so skinny that their bones can be easily seen from outside their skins. They are weak-sighted and do not even have good spectacles to study. They have to manage with skill means spectacles with glasses broken like water bricks on stones and mended here and there. So they don't afford to buy new spectacles. Then misfortune appears to be absolute and ineradicable. All their time is confined to the dark and foggy slum. These slums are a black spot on the map and a question mark on the growing human civilization. The speaker begs the authorities to save the children from their dead-like state, confined to catacombs like slums. These children need to be freed of all bondages with a world linked to the civilized world, so that happiness and prosperity can be brought to them. If these children are allowed free education and expression, they will become enlightened and empowered like the sun and will create history. Now, explanation of these lines. The stunted, unlucky hair of twisted bones reciting the father's gnarled disease. His lesson from his desk. Now here, reciting, what do we recite? Means again and again you remember. So here is again and again trying to remember what he has inherited from his father. He has not inherited any property from his father, but he has inherited stunted growth, twisted bones because of the disease that his father suffered because of malnutrition. A child in the classroom of a slum school has not attained his proper height because of malnutrition, and is also suffering from a disease of twisted bones. He fails to recite his lesson from his desk when he tries to and gains sympathy from people. Open-handed map. So we are taking up some of these which are very important. Avoiding the world its world. The map on the wall of the classroom has included almost all places and people in it quite generously. So that's why open-handed map. And thereby assigning from their rightful place and position. So it shows the kind of development that has taken place, the way the civilization is. But when you look at all these people who are living in slums, the children in slums, then we understand that how we should have developed, we are not developed to that extent. However, the slums and the children have been marginalized and have got no place in the civilized world, and therefore the maps do not show them. These windows that shut upon their lives like catacombs, break open till they break the town. The state of the slum dwellers is like the dead buried in the graves in underground cemeteries. They live in an enclosed environment which is like the underworld, as a portal to access the civilized world is close to them. So he says, break, come out of all that till they break it all. Otherwise what will happen? They will revolt. And show the children green fields and make their world on a zoo. So green symbolizes nature. Green symbolizes prosperity, fertility, golden prosperity and happiness. Azure, a clear and unpolluted sky. Run azure on board sands. And let their tongues turn naked into books. So let them have expression The white and green leaves open. White to the books and green leaves bright future they have, and white purity, enlightenment and culture. So white leaves are books and green leaves. So they will be enough for the future. The poet visualizes a world covered with green nature, full of greenery, a cloudless and clear sky, and a land full of prosperity and happiness. He wants a free and unlimited access to education and books so that the children in the slums can be enlightened and cultured and live a free and happy life. History is theirs whose language is the sun. The sun is an epitome of glory, hope and splendor. The poet says, only those people create history or live a meaningful life who have attained success by interacting with the civilized world. If the same opportunity is provided to the slum children, they can also make a difference to the existing world. Spender's ideologies were in response to the problems concerning social inequalities. So his concern with social inequality, his poem does not explicitly target any country or group. So he is concerned with handouts, he is concerned with poor people. Through his works, he wanted to bring a social change in the lives of those who are deprived, who are living in poverty. The poem was written during the American Civil Rights Movement. Spender was against the racial discrimination meted out to the black people. He points this out in the poem and does not name any particular ethnic group. Now, characterization. Spender describes the pitiful condition of the slum children studying in an elementary school. The children are devoid of happiness and love. So they lack happiness and love, while some suffer from genetic disease, others are sick or suffer from malnutrition. The speaker wants the government to help them and offer opportunities so that they can seek to live in a world with fresh air, water, knowledge and joy. Just like other people, these children too have dreams. They wish to run around in natural landscapes, but all they get is a world full of crime, pollution and disease. The education system and the government are a complete failure if they cannot provide equal opportunities to all these citizens. The society too has become a pathetic